Now that we've gotten a deeper look at Stasis and the Warlock subclass, it's time to take a look at the other two classes. Bungie has given us a little preview of what's going on with those other classes, and we're going to start with the Titan. The Behemoth Titan, as it's being called, has the ability to use Stasis offensively by using their power to freeze enemies, or defensively by creating walls and pillars for protection. The super looks like it actually does both for you by sending out shockwaves to freeze enemies, and then beyond that, making the pillars. We'll get to that super in a moment. Their melee attack is Shivering Strike. Shiver Strike or Shivering Strike? Shiver Strike. Their melee attack is Shiver Strike, where the Titan lunges forward and slams into an enemy, slowing anything nearby and pushing the main target back. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find this attack in action. Most of the footage available is just of the super. The super is called Glacial Quake, and like I mentioned earlier, creates freezing shockwaves to hit enemies and then creates pillars for protection, as the description in the picture says. You're also able to jump higher, faster, and farther while in the super. You're able to instantly shatter enemies as you sprint or slide through them, but I'm assuming they need to be frozen first. An example of a Titan aspect is Tectonic Harvest, where shattering a stasis crystal creates a stasis shard. That was a fun sentence to practice. Shards that are picked up grant melee energy, and they can be picked up by you or your teammates. A fragment example given is Whisper of Durance, where slows from your abilities last longer, and for abilities that linger, the duration of those is also increased, and you also get plus 10 strength. Let's take a look at the Hunter now, maybe a slight playstyle difference here. Revenant Hunters aim to slow the fight around them with stasis, starting with Withering Blade, their melee. This shuriken will ricochet off of enemies and surfaces into, preferably, other enemies, slowing and damaging them, with the ability to freeze enemies if you hit them with 2 shurikens. Their super is Silence and Squall, where the Hunter pulls out 2 comma, each with a different function. The first will detonate on impact, freezing enemies hit by the blast. The second will embed itself into whatever it strikes, and then detonate, creating a storm that will chase nearby enemies. Hunters will get an aspect that allows them to tweak their dodge to slow any enemies nearby when they use their dodge. Another aspect revealed was Shatter Dive, where by holding a button, you can quickly dive to the ground while mid-air to shatter nearby enemies. I assume similar in vein to the Dawnblade ability. Now, I mentioned in the previous video that Behemoth looks very much like Striker Titan, but you freeze stuff instead of zapping stuff. And I mentioned that I'm pretty okay with it for now, as I'm just looking forward to the new subclasses and seeing what their capabilities are before I really judge them. I don't think my opinion has changed in the past few days. You know, a good amount of the Titan MO is punch stuff, be aggressive, set up fortifications, and this subclass seems to hit that goal. But I can absolutely understand the desire to see something a little different, slightly different playstyle, even though Titans do have a decent amount of differences in their subclasses, at least when it comes to their supers. I get it though, you know, their supers mainly revolve around melee and hitting stuff. You know, I get it. I don't imagine Bungie is really looking to reinvent the wheel here though. As for Hunters, definitely a little bit different compared to what we have nowadays. Hunters are pretty melee focused, 2 of the 3 supers anyway, so I feel like adding some stuff to throw into the mix is a nice way to change up things a bit, but still having a little bit of familiarity to the class. Yes, there is Blade Barrage, but I feel like Silence and Squall has a little more nuance to it compared to something like Blade Barrage. Grenades were also fully revealed. Glacier, Cold Snap, and Duskfield Grenade are the 3 that all Stasis subclasses will be getting. Glacier Grenade will create a wall and freeze any enemies that it hits inside. When destroyed, the crystals that formed from the grenade will deal AoE damage. Cold Snap Grenade seems like a slower moving bolt type grenade where it seeks out an enemy to freeze, it hits the enemy, and then it moves to a second, and then potentially a third. And Duskfield Grenade creates stasis fields that suck enemies into them, and if they get trapped for too long, they will freeze. I'm just going to reiterate what I said in my first Stasis video in case you missed it. All of this is pretty neat, but Destiny has never really shown a need for crowd control in most activities, even though some of the limited crowd control that we do have is really good. A lot of Destiny's cool build potentials and playstyles tend to hinge on the fact that a lot of enemies just flat out die after you look at them wrong, and everything else we do is complete overkill. I want Stasis to actually feel valuable for its crowd control effects, not just simply another flavor of killing enemies. Sure, in the lowest level content, things are going to die really easily, I get it. But when it comes to raids, nightfalls, master content, maybe stuff that's kind of in between, I really hope that Stasis is a valuable tool. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.